27-year-old Calum Fern and 28-year-old Sean Murphy left the tribunal today accompanied by the lawyers who had helped them win their case.
It is like a massive sense of relief for us, especially to feel kind of like, justified and have someone go, yeah, they're telling the truth after being told for so long, you're not going to get anywhere.
Calum and Sean, both from Resolven, worked for S&J Enterprises Wales, who ran 2 Pizza Hut franchises. Both were dismissed for gross misconduct in June 2021. The tribunal heard their sackings came shortly after both complained to the company's owners about 2 of the company's managers. Calum Fern worked at this branch in Port Talbot. During his time, he was sent a Snapchat photo by area manager Dean Green. In that photo, Green was in the bath watching the store's CCTV on his mobile phone. Dean Green also told Mr. Fern that he had sexy legs, but after he complained, he was sacked for stealing food, leaving the store unattended and using his personal mobile phone. Rhys Stevens made a lot of inappropriate comments over a long period of time to Sean Murphy while she worked at the Neath branch. He made sexual comments, such as when she reached down to pick up something off the floor, he told her she shouldn't bend down like that in front of men. After complaining to the owners, Sean Murphy was sacked for stealing, poor performance and breaching social media policy. Calum is a special constable who wants to join the police full-time. In an attempt to stop him taking the case to an employment tribunal, the owners of the business reported him to the police, making up false allegations, which led to him being suspended from the constabulary, pending an investigation which cleared him of any wrongdoing.
I mean, there was many times where sort of considered, was it worth it? It's been a long 2.5 years, but I think this week has shown that we did do the right thing, and you need to speak out.
The tribunal ruled that they had both been wrongfully dismissed and that they had both been sexually harassed. The tribunal's been deciding this afternoon whether Mr. Fern and Ms. Murphy are due damages. A judgment about that will be published in the spring. Pizza Hut say they take these incidents very seriously and have strict processes in place that they expect all franchisees to follow. Meanwhile, managers Dean Green and Rhys Stevens are still employed by the franchises. Calum and Sean say this has caused a lot of stress, pain and anxiety, but say they didn't go through all this for themselves.
I'd like to think that this will somewhat go to help other people who might be in a similar situation to know that they do have rights.
Well, let's just pick up on that with Damien Phillips, who's an employment lawyer with Darwin Gray Solicitors. And we heard Sean and Calum there saying that they wanted to speak out to show others that they do have rights in these kinds of situations. Can you just talk us through what those rights are and what can people do if they feel that they have been abused in work?
Yeah, so basically employees have the right to work in an environment where they're not sexually harassed. So that's unwanted conduct by a colleague or other person that may violate their dignity, create a hostile environment for them, one that's not offensive. It doesn't have to be intended, it can just have the effect of creating that atmosphere for them. And basically, if that happens, they should go to their employer, they should try and deal with it informally, if possible. If not, then raise a grievance. But if that doesn't work, then they're looking at going to an employment tribunal.
And if it does go to a tribunal, what are the complications of taking that kind of action, on both sides?
Well, it's a big step. I mean, there's legal costs involved, evidential difficulties as well. But I would say for whether it be an employee or employer, to basically get your sort of ducks in a row, interview people, get your evidence, take notes of meetings and so on. The more you can front load, the better it is.
And we've also heard today, haven't we, about former employees of McDonald's beginning legal action too, accusing the company of failing to protect them from allegations of a toxic culture of sexual assault, harassment, racism, bullying. So is this then a symptom of a wider problem across the industry?
I don't know whether it's just within the industry itself, but I think people are becoming more aware of their rights, that they're being empowered by these sort of cases. We live in a different age now than maybe from a few decades ago, and what may have been deemed to be acceptable then simply is not acceptable now. The whole, it was a bit of banter, that just is not acceptable. And in terms of sexual harassment, the law has changed. So from next year, there is a positive duty on employers to take steps to prevent sexual harassment from occurring in the workplace. And if they don't take those steps, those reasonable steps, then they can be liable for an increase of 25% in compensation.
Damien Phillips, employment lawyer with Darwin Gray, thank you very much for joining us.